NACDL is the association of the nation's criminal defense bar.
So we're going to start by exploring a little bit about some of our misconceptions about people with disabilities. And I think that really begins when we think about what we believe or the visions that we have created for what disability looks like. And unfortunately, a lot of times our sources for that information come from the media. And overwhelmingly in the media, we portray people with disabilities as white, as male. We portray them as though a disability is something that must be overcome or beaten. Think about the very literal Forrest Gump running out of his leg braces. We think about disability as something that needs to be pitied or something that makes people have superpowers or it makes them villainous. And the reality is that that's not at all what disability looks like. We are very fortunate today that we are going to be joined by folks from the Ally Self-Advocacy Alliance. This group of folks has taken their time to share with you all a little bit about what they want you to know about disability. And so I'm mostly going to turn this over for you to hear this in their own words. So the first thing we did is we asked them to start to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Woodward, and for those who want an audio description, I am a woman with Down syndrome who has brown hair, and I'm wearing a black striped shirt with some pink stripes and ruffles on the sleeves. I am working at the National Down Syndrome Society, where I am the Community Outreach Associate. I also am the editor-in-chief of a magazine by Informed Self-Advocates for Down Syndrome, and I also am a student at George Mason University, getting a degree in sociology with a concentration in social change and inequality.
My name is Jesse Monroe. I live in Norfolk, Virginia, in my own apartment with assistance from a place called the Hope House Foundation, and I have a disorder called arthrogryposis, which I was born with it. It tightens my muscles and joints to the point that I really can't move my extremities at all, any of them. And I've been living in that area for my whole life, and so that's me. I've been doing a lot of advocacy work. I really enjoy doing it. It's been very rewarding. Not just for myself, but to help others. And things I enjoy at least of course before COVID, I like going to breweries and going to movie theaters, and I really like hanging out with my family.
I am Ben, and I'm a non-speaking autistic, and I use a CRP and a letterboard to speak.
So we asked some of them if they would share a little bit about their disability.
I'm born with spina bifida, and it's a physical disability that, like I said, I was born with, and it affects me in a few different ways. One of them, the one that would be visible, is that I use a wheelchair. I use a manual wheelchair full time, so I'm a full-time wheelchair user. It also can have some neurologic components. It just really varies for different people. With mine, my processing speed is a little slower, so I might not, be able to answer something as quickly as somebody else, and so things like that.
You tell folks a little bit about what your disability is and how it
Well,
impacts you.
it's a slow learning process and it impacts me in different ways. Like, for instance, when I'm in the community, when I'm working at Kroger, I'm very sociable. So I like to interact with people.
I was born with Williams syndrome, and I think it's in the chromosome or a deleted chromosome. I'm not too sure, but people with Williams syndrome they're very outgoing people. They wear glasses. They have bad overbites. They like to sing or play music. They do different things just like everybody else. Some of them have very bad heart conditions. But that's about it. Like, it's really cool. I love my disability. I couldn't have it any other way.
So we next asked, are there some common misconceptions about people that people have about you?
I think the most common one is that I can't hear them and that I'm stupid.
So an example would be if I'm like with friends or something, they will direct, like especially like in restaurants or something, I will have somebody talk to that person rather than directly to me. There is oftentimes the thought that the misperception that a physical disability would mean that I do have an intellectual disability as well. And so, and obviously not that that's a problem, but it's not accurate.
Because of the way they look at me, they say, oh, she can't do that because they use handicapped instead of disability. I have to prove myself every single day about what I can do, which means I have to show people every day, which normal people don't have to show every day what they can't and can do. So that's a little frustrating.
What might make you hesitate to disclose your disability?
On an individual daily basis, being to myself and doing things alone can, I feel like people, may already, since I have a disability, but I'm not tell them, and then I might want to tell them, but it's like, I'm just not sure how they will accept that and what you're going to think if they would even want to hear it, because of the fact that I am someone with disability and they feel I should, be able to understand things.
First of all, I was born with Down syndrome, but I don't want to be defined by having Down syndrome. The phrase that I go by is the phrase, don't limit me. I am not Down syndrome. I am a woman with Down syndrome.
Got it. Finish that word. People don't want to listen since it's different and it takes time, especially when I'm anxious like right now and need a lot of regulating.
I want people to see me for who I am, see me for the person, not the disability. I don't want to have someone say, oh, I'm so sorry you have autism, because when they say, oh, let's cure it, I'm like, I'm not sick. It's not a disease. You know, let's find a cure for cancer. Let's find a cure for Alzheimer's or Parkinson's. But autism is who I am, and it actually, in some ways, it's helped because I have a pretty darn good memory when it comes to certain things.
So why is it important to be a self-advocate?
I want to become a self-advocate because I want to start to be in the community and to start to speak up for my own, and for me to be independent and for me to live on my own.
10, I met at least 10 for state level legislators during this year.
And what kinds of things do you advocate for?
The inclusion.
When you use the word inclusion, what do you see that, what does that mean to you, inclusion?
Disability.
And how could we be more inclusive of people with disabilities?
Urging them to be prepared to go out in the community and live a community-based setting, instead of being stuck in the congregation setting, like in the segregated institution.
Why is that so important?
So that people, so disabled people can have a good life. Yeah, I've been hearing about DD waivers all the time. Reading about the DD waivers, wait lists, and everything like that.
For people who may not know what a D waiver is, can you tell them what that is?
A DD waiver is what allows disabled person to go live in the community-based setting.
In the past, we've not been, people didn't notice us, people didn't listen to us, and they certainly didn't respect what we had to say. They brushed us off because we have a disability. They didn't look at us as having something meaningful to say. They looked at, they would look at a young person's parents. They would look at the professionals. They wouldn't look at what I had to say or what anybody else on the Alliance had to say. And Virginia, we're trying to change that. The Alliance is making sure that people with disabilities are always at the discussion table when it comes to decisions that are made about us. We have people sitting on statewide stakeholder groups for criminal justice reform, for stuff regarding Medicaid, and making sure that our voice is being heard because we have the lived experience. Everybody else doesn't. They don't know what it's like to walk in my shoes or a person with a disability shoes.